All right, so we're going deep today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a deep dive into digoxin.
Okay.
A drug with a seriously wild history.
Wild in what way?
Well, it's both a life-saving medication
Uh-huh.
and a deadly poison.
No kidding.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're using this excerpt from a book about the history of poison.
Interesting.
Yeah, and believe me, this is a real page-turner. It's not just about the chemistry.
Okay.
It's got mystery, medical breakthroughs,
Right.
even a serial killer.
Wow, this is going to be good.
I know. We're going to uncover how a simple plant extract became both a medical marvel
Yeah.
and a killer's weapon.
I'm intrigued. Let's start at the beginning.
Perfect. So where does this potent substance even come from?
You might be surprised to hear it all starts with a seemingly harmless plant,
Okay.
the foxglove.
The foxglove. You mean those
Yeah.
beautiful bell-shaped flowers you see in gardens?
Exactly. They've got all this mythology surrounding them, fairies, ancient instruments.
Oh, interesting.
But the foxglove, or digitalis, is that because of their finger-like shape?
You got it. The name comes from a 16th century botanist
Uh-huh.
named Foot. He thought the flowers resembled fingers.
Interesting.
But even back then, people already recognized the power of this plant.
Really?
Yeah, they used it for various medicinal purposes.
Like what?
Well, some not-so-good stuff, like inducing vomiting,
Oh.
but also treating something called dropsy.
Drops?
It's an old term for edema.
Okay.
Basically, severe swelling in the body, often caused by a weak heart.
Oh, I see.
Foxglove was already in medical tech for this.
So they knew it could help the heart.
Kind of.
Kinda.
Yeah, using it was like walking a tightrope. The dosage was critical,
Oh, I bet.
too much, and the side effects bad, really bad.
So early physicians were experimenting without fully understanding it.
Pretty much. It was a bit of a gamble.
And that's where our hero, William Withering.
You know what?
Yeah.
Our source describes him as a true Renaissance man doctor, botanist.
Wow, a real polymath. He even had a mineral named after him. Withering was brilliant,
Totally.
and his work with foxglove was revolutionary.
It sounds like he was more than just a dabbler.
Oh yeah, way more.
More like a serious scholar.
Absolutely. It's like he stumbled upon this secret recipe,
Right.
realized foxglove was the key ingredient, and then dedicated himself to figuring it out.
That's dedication.
Imagine spending 10 years researching a single plant,
And years. Wow.
meticulously documenting dosages, side effects, every observation.
That's incredible.
He even wrote a whole book about it, an account of the foxglove.
A real labor of love.
Truly a landmark in medical history.
What exactly did he find during this decade of foxglove obsession?
So Withering wasn't just blindly prescribing foxglove.
Okay.
He was trying to understand how it worked.
Makes sense.
He noticed that it was really effective for treating dropsy,
Uh-huh.
specifically the kind that developed after infections like scarlet fever.
Interesting.
We know now that those infections weaken the heart. And what Withering was seeing centuries ago was that foxglove could help the heart regain its strength.
So he was laying the groundwork for modern cardiology.
Exactly, even though they didn't understand the heart like we do now.
It's amazing how he connected a plant to something so complex.
He even wrote that foxglove had a power over the motion of the heart to a degree yet unobserved in any other medicine.
A bit of a poet, our Mr. Withering.
Right.
But he knew about the risks too, right?
Oh, absolutely. He documented the potential side effects meticulously.
Like what?
Vomiting, vision problems, dangerously slow heart rate.
Yikes.
He even told a story about a woman who almost killed her husband.
Really?
Yeah, with overly strong foxglove tea.
Oh, wow.
It was through these close calls that he realized the importance of dosages.
So it wasn't just the benefits, but understanding the dangers too.
Yeah, finding that delicate balance.
That counts.
That's what led him to develop his own system for preparing and administering foxglove,
Like what?
drying the leaves, crushing them into a powder.
Interesting.
He was trying to ensure consistency and safety.
It's like he was laying the groundwork for modern drug practices.
Exactly. Long before those practices existed.
His work was groundbreaking for sure.
Yeah, he went from folklore to a scientific basis for using foxglove,
Amazing.
and his work paved the way for a whole new era of heart treatment.
That's incredible.
You know, speaking of unexpected things,
Yeah.
have you heard about the possible connection between foxglove and Vincent van Gogh's art?
Oh, yeah. The vibrant yellows in his painting.
Right?
I've always loved that kind of thing, when art and science intertwine.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it?
Yeah, but is it true that his art was influenced by foxglove poisoning?
Well, it's a bit of a medical mystery.
How so?
Van Gogh was in an asylum,
Okay.
and they used digitalis a lot there. Some people think those intense yellows in his paintings
Yeah.
were a side effect of foxglove poisoning.
Really?
There's even a famous portrait of his doctor holding a sprig of foxglove.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, so the idea is that he was hallucinating from the foxglove.
And that inspired his art.
It's a romantic idea, but
Well, what?
Well, foxglove poisoning causing yellow vision is super rare.
Oh,
And for Van Gogh to get that effect from foxglove,
Yeah.
he'd have had to consume a lot.
And I bet there would have been other, not-so-artistic side effects.
You got it.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of inspiration you want.
Well, plus, his doctor was very aware of the dangers of foxglove.
Right.
And Van Gogh's eye exams show no vision problems.
So it seems unlikely.
It does, doesn't it?
Probably just a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe Van Gogh just really liked yellow.
Haha, that's possible too.
It does add a bit of intrigue, though, right?
Oh, definitely.
So we've got this powerful plant
Yeah.
being used carefully but effectively.
Right.
But how do we get from foxglove to a drug called digoxin?
That's a good question.
That's where our chemist, Sidney Smith, comes in.
Okay.
Fast forward to 1930.
All right.
He's working with a different kind of foxglove, Digitalis lanata, also known as woolly foxglove.
Woolly foxglove. What's so special about that one?
Doctors had noticed that it was even stronger than the purple foxglove.
The one Withering studied.
Exactly. And Smith wanted to know why. He knew about a compound called digitoxin, which they'd already isolated from the purple foxglove.
Okay.
But he thought there was something else going on with this woolly kind.
So he was on a mission to figure it out.
You could say that, and he was right.
What did he find?
He successfully isolated the active compound digoxin.
Digoxin.
Turns out, woolly foxglove has both digoxin and digitoxin.
Oh, a double whammy.
Exactly, making it super potent. Now, this is where the chemistry gets a bit tricky.
Okay, I'm ready.
Digoxin is a cardiac glycoside.
What?
It interacts with a specific pump in your heart cells
Oh, how to pump.
called the sodium-potassium ATPase pump.
Okay, ATPase pump. That sounds a bit complicated.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. Think of it like a tiny gatekeeper in your heart cells, controlling what goes in and out, keeping a balance of sodium and potassium ions.
Ions.
Yeah, they're essential for your heart to beat properly.
Okay, so I'm picturing this little gatekeep doing its job.
Good.
Where does digoxin fit into all of this?
Digoxin is like a sneak character,
Oh.
messing with the gatekeeper's instructions.
Oh.
This throws the balance off and ultimately leads to a more powerful heart.
So it's like giving your heart an extra boost.
Exactly. It's not adding fuel, it's tweaking how the heart operates.
Fascinating how something so small can have such a big impact.
Isn't it? No wonder it helps people with heart failure.
It all comes back to that little plant.
And a curious chemist.
For sure.
But remember what we said about digoxin's dual nature?
Yeah, good and the bad.
We've explored the healing power.
Right.
Now it's time to delve into the dark.
Oh boy.
The story of Charles Cullen awaits.
Okay, let's go down that path.
Buckle up.
Sounds like things are about to get intense.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how digoxin can save lives.
When used correctly.
Exactly.
But in the wrong hands.
Yeah, it can be deadly.
Like with Charles Cullen.
A truly tragic story.
It's hard to understand how someone who's supposed to care for people
I know.
can do such horrible things.
Yeah.
Our source talks about Cullen's difficult life, a tough childhood, a failed marriage, always struggling.
Sad, really.
And amidst all that despair, he chose digoxin as his weapon.
Chilling.
His first suspected victim was at Warren Hospital in New Jersey,
Right.
a 91-year-old woman recovering from breast cancer surgery.
Awful.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
And sadly, it would be the last.
No.
Over 16 years, he moved from hospital to hospital, leaving a trail of victims.
It's unbelievable.
The way he used his knowledge of hospitals to commit these crimes.
He knew this is.
It's scary how he exploited it,
He was methodical about it.
targeting most vulnerable,
The elderly, the critically ill,
using drugs like digoxin and insulin
and the hummus.
that wouldn't raise suspicion,
He knew how to make the deaths look natural.
covering his tracks perfectly.
Like a ghost.
Our source even mentions how he manipulated those medication dispensers.
The Pexis med stations.
Yeah, to get digoxin without a trace.
It's like something out of a movie.
It shows how even technology can be exploited.
For sure. It raises a lot of questions about safety and accountability.
It's mind-boggling how he got away with it for so
I
long.
don't know, right? How did he slip through the cracks?
Well, he was cunning, blended in.
But the system failed too.
There were suspicions,
Whispers.
but no one took them seriously.
Maybe they were afraid of lawsuits.
Or couldn't believe a nurse could do such a thing.
It's a systemic issue, not just about Cullen himself.
It highlights the need for transparency and accountability
Absolutely.
without creating an environment of distrust.
Tough balance.
Tragically, those cracks in the system had consequences.
Yeah, they allowed Cullen to keep going.
He moved from hospital to hospital, but always finding new jobs.
And the body count kept rising.
It's estimated he may have killed as many as 400 people.
Unthinkable.
One of the most prolific serial killers in history.
It's terrifying.
But eventually, his luck ran out.
At Somerset Medical Center,
Right.
coworkers noticed strange things.
Like what?
Accessing patient records he shouldn't have,
Oh!
canceled medication orders on the Pyxis machine,
The red flags were there?
and then there was Reverend Florian Gall.
The priest?
Cullen gave him digoxin,
and he died the next day.
Reverend Gull's sister suspected foul play,
She demanded an investigation.
and they found the evidence they needed.
Digital footprints leading back to Cullen.
It was the break they'd been waiting for.
Finally, in December 2003,
They arrested him.
during a date of all things.
What a way to end a date.
Talk about bad timing.
Right.
But the arrest was just the start.
There were confession, trials.
And a plea deal
To avoid the death penalty,
in exchange for his cooperation,
he confessed to 29 murders.
but admitted the real number was probably much higher.
That's a chilling thought.
He was sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences,
Ensuring he'd never be free again.
a small measure of justice.
But nothing can truly heal the pain he caused.
His case changed the healthcare system
Hospitals had to reevaluate their protocols.
and hiring practices,
It exposed a dark side,
a reminder that evil can hide anywhere.
even in places meant for healing.
Now, there's one more twist to this story.
Oh, yeah.
Something I found both fascinating and unsettling.
The kidney donation.
Right.
While awaiting trial, Cullen got a letter.
From who?
The mother of his ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
Her son needed a kidney transplant.
And Cullen was a match.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's full of irony.
The man who took so many lives,
Offering to save one,
was it genuine compassion?
an attempt at redemption.
Or another way to control things?
It's a question without an easy answer.
There were legal issues, ethical concerns,
The families of his victims were furious.
and Cullen himself was difficult.
Outbursts in court trying to sabotage the donation.
It was a mess.
But in the end, the transplant happened.
August 2004.
A strange ending to a horrifying story.
It makes you think about human nature.
The capacity for both good and evil.
It's a mystery.
We've come a long way in this deep dive
From a delicate flower.
to the darkest corners of humanity.
It's amazing how digoxin can be both healer and destroyer.
Thinking about digoxin, it makes me think about William Wittering
Yeah.
back in the 1700s, carefully studying the foxglove.
It's so different from how we do things now.
Totally. He was relying on observation, trial and error.
And intuition.
Right, a lot of intuition,
It was groundbreaking then.
but risky
Oh, yeah, definitely.
and slow. It took him 10 years.
Can you imagine if that's all we had today?
I know, so many potential cures we'd...
Or worse, dangerous side effects,
It's remarkable he found digoxin's benefits.
given what he had to work with.
But there was some luck involved, too.
Absolutely.
What if Withering hadn't been so careful?
Yeah.
Foxglove could have been seen as just dangerous.
That's
It makes you appreciate how far we've come.
Modern medicine, rigorous testing.
The science behind it all.
To me.
But it also makes you wonder,
What?
could we go even further?
How do you...
What if we could eliminate the guesswork?
From drug discovery.
Yeah, no more trial and error.
That's where AI comes in.
AI, like artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
Wow.
Algorithms analyzing huge data sets, identifying promising compounds, predicting their effects
Oh, really?
with incredible accuracy.
It sounds like sci-fi.
It does, but it's happening.
Wow.
AI is designing new drugs, personalizing treatments,
Oh, way.
even diagnosing diseases earlier.
That's incredible.
For digoxin, with its tricky dosage,
Yeah.
AI could be a game changer.
How so?
Instead of guessing the right dose,
Right.
algorithms calculate it precisely.
For each patient.
Exactly.
Wow, that would minimize the risks.
And make treatment more effective.
The possibilities are amazing.
They are.
But there are ethical concerns.
Right.
We have to use AI responsibly.
Absolutely. No worsening inequalities in healthcare.
Right?
We need to think about data privacy, potential biases.
Important considerations.
We have to address these challenges head on.
I agree.
But think about the potential benefit.
Yeah.
Imagine a world without cancer.
Wow.
Chronic conditions managed easily.
With no side effect.
Treatments tailored to our genes.
It's a future worth fighting for.
It is.
Digoxin's story reminds us of the power of discovery,
The good and the bad.
but also our drive to improve human health.
That's what matters.
So, to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What if digoxin had only been found through trial and error? Would we even know about its benefits?
Good question.
Could AI have led us to it faster, safer?
It makes you wonder.
What other breakthroughs are waiting?
Hidden in the data.
Waiting for AI to unlock them.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. So keep exploring, keep questioning, stay curious.
The future of medicine is full of potential.
And that wraps up our deep dive into digoxin.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.